The Broncos, they got all the way to the AFC Championship game last year. Obviously, they might have done more if Bo Nix doesn't get hurt. But whatever success they had last season, Sean Payton has made it very clear he wants to deal with a brand new clean slate heading into this season.
It's not let's run it back. Let's understand one thing. It's anything but that. When you win 11 of 13 one-score games, like you saw the flip in just one season between Kansas City, it's how do you improve your team, and the better you get, the harder it is to improve your team.
Yeah, I will tell you, that's why I think the Jaden Waddle acquisition with Cortland Sutton, Harvey, you start looking around at their skill pieces now, Franklin, Mims, you're like, yeah, it's time. Like, you're going to have to pay Bo here in a couple years. It feels like, to me, just roster composition, Denver's got the best roster in their division and maybe in the AFC.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a very sexy pick to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I think the Waddle, I think why you got to like the Waddle move is Sean's, the offense is his baby. He's utilized a lot of these type guys. You can move them around. But there's a lot of pressure. This is going to be a high-priced team. They've kind of got over that hump with the Russell Wilson contract. Like you said, they still have the rookie quarterback contract working to their advantage. That's why they could make the move. But they just gave their first and third round pick, Colin, for a guy. So they're all in right now.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Wall's a very good player. First, third is a lot. But I think that also tells you, I mean, that's Sean Payton basically saying, guys, we got 2 years to pay Bo Nix. Like, what are we waiting for? Let's go get a certified 1 or a 1A. So, I mean, offensively, I always feel like if you have an offensive coach like Ben Johnson or Sean Payton, you can overpay. Like, they'll squeeze the most out of the talent. And I kind of feel with Sean Payton, this is validation. He was right about Bo Nix. We can now say he was right about Bo Nix. And his take is, this is what I think the Ben Johnsons are doing too. It's like, hey, I'm going to have to pay Caleb a fortune in a couple years. Load up now.
And the one thing, when you close your eyes and you think Bo Nix at Oregon, the type guys they have, Waddle feels like that type player. So I think he goes and he fits with Bo Nix, getting the ball to him behind the line of scrimmage. But man, Colin, there are going to be a lot of disappointed teams in the AFC because there's only one team that can win it.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember when there was chatter last season about the Broncos maybe needing to draft a quarterback this year? Do you guys recall that? I remember that. That was pretty amusing. Now we're sitting here like, oh, if only Bo Nix hadn't been there, they could have possibly won the Super Bowl. And I was like, yeah, because he's a fantastic quarterback. I'm not even going to go off too much about the first and third round picks for Jalen Waddle with people saying, oh, they gave up a lot. No, they didn't. Where they were picking, you weren't getting anyone like Jalen Waddle. You know, if they had the 8th overall pick, sure, then we could have a conversation about it. That's not the situation the Broncos found themselves in because they won a lot of games last year. So the Jalen Waddle move makes complete sense. They do have an argument for the best roster in the AFC, for sure. I don't know if you guys realize this, but last year they were a top team in the NFL. I don't know if you guys realize this, but they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. And they made it to the AFC Championship game and would have gone to the Super Bowl if their quarterback hadn't broken his ankle or whatever bone it ended up being in his foot. So when you put all that together, we can reach the conclusion. I was trying to run the numbers the other day, but the numbers told me that the Broncos were a good team last year. That they won games last year. Okay? That they had a great defense. They had a great offense. Maybe it didn't look as amazing as you wanted it to at times. Surprise, surprise, this is called football. And there you go. And I love Sean Payton's messaging. This is what the great teams do. This is what the Chiefs have done. This is what the Eagles have done. It's like, we're not just running it back. There's no, okay, this is how great we were last year. Like my whole rant, right? Well, you were great last year. It doesn't matter. This is this year. Brand new team. Brand new team. Brand new everything. Brand new schedule. The ball is going to bounce differently than it did last year. And that's just the way it goes. So everything is brand new, brand new, brand new. And that's why I love to talk about the games you should have won or shouldn't have won. You know, people struggle with those kinds of conversations. I look at games and think, okay, you won this game, but you were lucky to win this game, or you could have lost this, or technically you should have lost this. And that goes into my evaluation when I'm trying to figure out how good or not good a team is. And this is essentially what Sean is talking about when you're looking at one-score games and all that. He knows. He's coached enough football. He's been around football long enough to know that if you run it back, and now I just mean run it back in terms of playing all the same teams, same games, and the games unfold in a similar way, he knows, yeah, you know what? There are definite why times you're going to lose that game against the Jets. You're going to lose that game against the Raiders. You're going to lose that game against the Eagles. Right? That's the way football goes. That's the way these things unfold. You don't lock in a win as if it becomes part of your soul and your identity. That's not how it works. And so that's why you want to keep getting better. I talk about this so much now. This seems to be definitely one of my main philosophies these days, stretching that margin of error. Widening that margin of error. Just becoming better and better and better in ways that allow you to not have to be perfect or need the football gods on your side. So even when you're fortunate to win a game, like again, against the Jets, the Raiders, the Eagles, it doesn't mean you didn't do anything to win those games. That you weren't deserving. You know, going for it on 2-point against the Eagles and making big plays, big stops. You're not taking anything away from the win, right? But it's just recognizing that a series of events needed to go in your favor for you to come away with the win. And you just want a wider margin of error. And so, yeah, I do think the pressure is on for this team to compete and not only win games but to be great. To truly be great. And it's interesting to hear John Middlecoff say, oh, I think a lot of people are going to be picking the Broncos now. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. I don't see that energy anywhere. I mean, people still don't really believe in Bo Nix. You have people saying, oh, they gave up a lot for Jalen Waddle. I think they have the third best. Colin said they have the best record, or excuse me, the best roster, maybe in the AFC, and yet they're third in the AFC West to win. They're behind the Chargers and the Chiefs. And again, that is strictly because of Bo Nix. If the world saw Bo Nix the way they see, I don't even want to use the biggest names right now, but whatever, we'll just go through them. You know, obviously the Lamars, the Joshes, the Mahomeses, the Justin Herberts even. People would feel better about the Broncos. And the mathematical people, the ones who make conclusions and predictions based on the numbers, based on the math and the history, all the fun prediction models, they would elevate this team if they felt better about Bo Nix. This team would have a lot more belief behind it. But it's not there yet. And so this is the year 3 with the Denver Broncos. You have continuity with coaching and the roster as well. You're not losing main pieces. It's not like Bo Nix is thinking, okay, well, it's year 3, but my security blanket is really old now and he's retiring, or they have to move on from him because he's too expensive, or this or that. You're not in that situation. You got even better. You got another guy to work with right now. And I do believe they'll be able to get this run game going in a consistent fashion as well. And so now the pressure. I've defended Bo Nix and praised Bo Nix, and I still have this saved just to bring up anytime I feel it's necessary. But to me, this is the year. This is the year for Bo Nix to show, I'm Bo Nix. This is who I am. I am a legitimate top quarterback in the NFL. I get it done. I get it done. You doubted me in year 1. You doubted me in year 2. And you're going to doubt me in year 3. You're not going to be able to doubt me going into year 4. Because you're going to be forced to say, yeah, no, that's the quarterback. Because again, remember, we had takes. I made clips around them saying, do the Broncos have a Bo Nix problem? Are they going to need to draft another quarterback this coming draft? That was a conversation that was actually had. I want to see Bo Nix play so great this season that if you had that take, people would respond, what are you talking about? You're only saying that for attention. People would say, oh, this is clickbait. You're just looking for clicks, views. You're a clown. The comment section should be insane. The person on the other side of the table should say, you're insane. And I want to see Bo Nix and this Broncos team, but especially Bo Nix, playing in a way where if you say anything other than him being an awesome quarterback, You're legitimately crazy. That's the step I want to see. Doesn't mean he has to be the best quarterback in the NFL. Doesn't mean he has to be an MVP, in the MVP conversation. I'm not saying any of that. Does it mean he needs to make every single big throw and every single big play in every must-have moment? But I just want him to play at a high enough level where it becomes impossible, to see the Broncos as anything but great. That's what I'm looking for this season. And I think he's going to do it. I'm really, really excited about what Bo has to work with. I'm really excited to see Bo in year 3. I think he's continued to improve and get better and better each season, and I trust the culture around the Broncos. And I don't mean culture in just one way, team culture and whatnot, but in terms of what the coaching staff is going to look to do with Bo and the work Bo is going to want to put in this offseason and beyond. So I had high hopes for the Broncos last season. Surprise, surprise, they were the 1 seed and got to the AFC Championship game. Also the Super Bowl, but I have high hopes for the Broncos this year. So we'll see. We'll see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Broncos and Bo Nix? Do you think they have the best roster in the NFL? And that's what's interesting, right? I'll end here, but even Colin says they have the best roster in the NFL. He's not saying they're the best team. He's not saying they're the best team. That says something about the conversation around the Broncos. It's like, oh, they've got a great roster. If they have the best roster, why aren't they the best team? Why aren't we saying, well, they are the top Super Bowl contender in the NFL? You've got to go through them? It's interesting, right? It's interesting. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some debates, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.